What's going on, everybody? And I am super excited. We reached 100 subscribers today, and as promised, I'm going to release my number 2 best bass fishing lure and why. All right, so let's dive into it, and here it is, my number 2 best bass fishing lure. There it is. That is a jig, or jig and pig combo. It's just a skirted jig. I'll get you a better shot of it here. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to catch you your quality fish. I'm telling you right now, quality fish off the jig. You're not going to get a ton of hits on a jig, so it is a little bit more of a boring lure to throw, unfortunately. But when you do get hits on the jig, let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a quality fish that you're looking for, okay? And now let's talk about where we're going to be using this jig, okay? So I'll use a jig just like this here. I'll use it around a lot of cover, okay? So you can pitch it to docks. You can also, I do a ton of this, is just find those piles of weeds that aren't super dense, just like kind of, I don't know, a little bit more sparse, and you just drop this right into the weeds, let it sink down, okay? Let it sit for a second, give it a couple pops, make it move just a little, just to make it so it's alive, because a lot of times what's going to happen with a jig is you're going to cast it or pitch it out, and it's going to fall. The fall is what normally gets a bass's attention. It sees the fall. It'll come over to it to inspect it. And now when it does come over to inspect it, that's where that little movement on the bottom of this kind of just a tiny hop, or even just crawl it along the bottom just to make it look like, yep, it is alive, and yep, that's a meal you're looking to grab. Okay, and then a lot of times when you're using a jig, you're gonna get a bite in that first little movement of the lure, or a lot of times they'll just hit it right on the drop. Okay, so that's going to be my second best lure, and it's going to be my best lure for bigger fish for sure. Let's talk about what rod and reel I'm going to be using for this. So this is going to be the Johnny Morris Carbon Light, and it's the older version. The newer version, I believe, is white. It has a real nice grip on it, the whole 9 yards. Kind of expensive rod, but it's nice and light. And what you really want, you want that medium heavy rod, and you want a nice fast action tip, so you can really feel those rocks. When you're dragging this, say you're fishing rocks, okay, you can feel every single rock. You have a nice light rod, fast action tip. You're going to be able to feel every little bump that this thing goes over, and you want to know that. You want to know if there's a rock there. You want to know if there's a brush pile. So that's the rod I'm going to be using. Okay, and the reel, this reel I'm not super crazy about, so I'm not really going to talk about it much as far as brand wise, but I'm going to talk about what kind of reel you want to use. You want to use a baitcaster, and you want to use a fast gear ratio. Okay, so like I said, you're going to be casting this out, pitching it out, and you're going to give it that 1, 2, 3 hops, and then you're going to reel it back in. So you don't want to spend all day reeling in a lure. You're not really retrieving this lure. You just want to get it back to you as quick as you can, so you can get it back out there into another spot. Okay, so that's why you want a fast gear ratio for your jig rod. If you've watched my best bass fishing line, I got the Seaguar 12-pound fluorocarbon. Check out that video if you want. But that's what I'm throwing the jig on, and that's where I'm throwing it, kind of how I'm working it. So I'm going to show you right now my favorite brand of jig and my favorite trailers to use as far as the rubber craw I'm going to throw on them. And it's the Booyah Baitco Boo Jig. That's definitely my go-to, and I really like the 3/8 ounce. I find it to be perfect as far as weight. It's not too heavy. You can throw it on most rods. It gives it that nice kind of quick fall, and you're gonna be able to cast it and pitch it and do whatever you want to do with it. And it's the size I'm looking for too. It's not giant, but it's not small either. A smaller bass will definitely come and pick that up as well. And the power bait Chigger Craw 3-inch. And I usually just match the colors. So if it's a blue and black jig, I'll use a blue and black Chigger Craw. If it's a green jig, I'll go with the green Chigger Craw. But the reason I use the Berkley Power Bait Chigger Craw is it's super price friendly. It comes with 10 of them in a pack, and you can't go wrong. I've never had a problem with them. They fit perfectly on there. Their body of it is not giant, so it's not like a huge profile. And you get those claws that are going to wiggle up and down. And if you guys want a little bit of proof of concept as far as this jig and will it catch the big fish, why don't you check out this video, okay? It's going to be my jig fishing episode from a little while ago, so forgive the audio and video quality, but you're going to see in this video me catch some quality fish on the jig. Alright, so there it is. Number 2. Best bass fishing lure and why. And I threw in a little bit of how to use it, okay? So, when I do get to 125 subscribers, I am going to release number 3 best bass fishing lure and why. And this lure, I actually just won a tournament this past weekend on it. Me and my buddy used this lure all day. As soon as we found that that's what they were hitting, it was like non-stop. It was an awesome day. We ended up winning the tournament, and show you some fish here. Nothing giant, but it was all quality fish that ended up winning the tournament. We had a bag of all fish that are just close to 2 pounds, and we were able to take home the win with that. But it was just a super fun day. I mean, they were killing this lure. So let's see if we can't get to 125 subscribers, and I'm going to let you know what that is. And as always, I will see you on the water.